Hello friends, if you're new here, my name is Malki Assad, a plastic surgery resident in the US, and over the last few years I reviewed hundreds of personal statements for residency applicants. In this video I will share with you the tips on how to write an excellent personal statement to ace your residency application. We will start with the purpose of the personal statement, questions you need to answer throughout your personal statement, the steps that you need to take to write your personal statement, and answer some FAQs related to residency personal statements. Before we get started, make sure to stick until the end of this video because I will be sharing with you our residency match application resources, which include over 20 personal statement examples and many other things you'll find very useful in your residency application. And now let's start with the purpose of the personal statement. Your residency personal statement is your story. It tells program directors the journey you've been through, your experiences, your accomplishments, the hardship and challenges you overcame to go into the specialty, and why you would be a good fit for this program. So it's a great opportunity that you should not miss to tell the best version you can of your story. I've even heard from multiple people who interviewed me when I was applying to residency that they only get access to my personal statement without my CV, so they don't get biased by the experiences included in my ERAS application, and they were only given access to my story through my personal statement. So make sure you don't underestimate that extremely important document, which is your personal statement. Now let's move on to what are the questions that you need to answer throughout your personal statement. The first question you need to answer is why you? What do you bring to the table? What are your strengths that will make this program pick you over other applicants? So here, don't be shy talking about your experiences, accomplishments, any challenges or hardships you overcame to become who you are right now. But be careful to not recite your CV or look very arrogant. And that's one of the most important things that our physician editors help applicants when they edit their personal statements, is to ensure that balance between presenting yourself as a strong applicant but also not having your personal statement as a copy of your ERAS application or looking too cocky. Also, always follow the show not tell principle, and that doesn't apply to this question but all the questions that you need to answer through your personal statement. And I'll show you a good and a bad example of how to show your strength and experiences. A bad example is, I'm a hard worker and I always did my best to succeed and overcome hardships. You can see here that this statement is very generic and can apply to almost every applicant. Let's have a look at the good example now. Growing up in a low-resourced country and having to work 2 jobs to provide living for my family while in medical school, giving up was never an option. I always thrived in challenging situations, guided by both my diligent work ethic and a spirit of unrelenting optimism in face of setbacks. My life experiences have imbued me with resilience and perseverance, qualities that will no doubt benefit me in residency. You can see here in the good example how the applicant is talking about resilience and perseverance through life examples. The applicant grew in a low-resource country and had to work 2 jobs while also in medical school to provide living for his family. This statement is not generic, it only applies to this applicant, and that's what makes a personal statement strong and personal. The applicant also reflects on how these qualities will help them during residency, because resilience and perseverance are required if you want to succeed in residency. Now, the second question that you need to answer is, why are you interested in this specialty? Why are you applying to internal medicine or pathology or surgery or whatever specialty you're interested in? And the same here, don't give them a lecture about the specialty because they already know that. Talk about your experiences with this specialty and why it interested you. And here is an example of that. My interest in internal medicine started during my first month of clinical rotations. Seeing the diversity of patient presentations and the application of evidence-based medical knowledge in solving patients' problems is what really drew me to the field. You can see how the applicant is reflecting on their own experiences during their clinical rotations and things they experienced themselves. The third question that it's recommended to answer during your personal statement is your career goals. And this is the area where you can align your interest with what the program is looking for. And this is what we call fit. Because if you're applying to a very academic program and you have interest in pursuing a physician scientist route, doing research, education, expressing that interest would help the program identify you as a good fit for themselves. And here is an example of that. Following my residency, I aspired to return to India and continue to treat patients suffering from trauma, conduct research on optimizing outcomes for trauma patients, and educating the next generation of surgeons. The fourth question you can answer in your personal statement, and this doesn't apply to everyone, is addressing red flags. So if you're someone who failed step 1 or step 2 CK exam, which is something you cannot hide in your application and is a big red flag usually for most program directors, you can mention that in your personal statement and how you overcame that challenge. Another red flag that you can address in your personal statement, if you have a big gap from graduating from medical school and applying to residency, you can mention the reason for this gap and what you did during this time period to make you a better applicant. And as I said, this does not apply to everyone. Not every small minor thing on your application is a red flag you need to address in your personal statement. So if you have a slightly lower score than average, this is not something you need to address in your personal statement. And finally, the introduction and end of your personal statement. I'm sure you've heard that your introduction has to be catchy and interesting for the reader to continue reading your story, and I agree with that, but what we see sometimes is that applicants overdo it, because not all applicants survived the war or went to Africa to volunteer or won the Olympics. So we sometimes see applicants trying to make up a drama of a certain story, but it doesn't look well. So if you don't have that crazy story that people will read and say, wow, oh my gosh, that's still fine. You'll still get an interview. If your application is good, of course. And now let's see an example of a good introduction. Females can never be surgeons. These were the words that resonated in my ears every time I expressed my interest in surgery. My medical school tutors, family, friends, all dissuaded me from pursuing this course. In a patriarchal society like the one I grew up in, women were expected to adhere to restrictive cultural norms. Thankfully, I persevered. So as you see, the introduction tells a background about the applicant, gives positive aspects of them, and sometimes tells a little bit about the hardships and the challenges they went through to be who they are. But again, try to make your introduction interesting and catchy, but again, even if you don't have stories like that, it's fine. And the end of your personal statement should look like a summary of the story. Try to tie everything together, and some prefer to loop it back to the introductions. So in the example of the female who went through challenges to become a surgeon, you can mention a reference of that in the end to kind of make it like a looping circle. My message to those women who, like me, are told by those around them that they can never be surgeons: do not be discouraged. Let their words fuel your strength and fight to make the world a better place for yourself and your patients. Now let's talk about the steps to write your personal statement. The first step is the outline. And in this step, try to answer the questions I was just talking about. Why you or your strength? Why are you interested in the specialty? Your career goals, red flags if any, the introduction and the end. And here try to add as many examples as possible, as many experiences as possible, because we're just writing an outline. The second step is the selection process. So after you wrote all these examples and experiences of your strength and why programs should choose you, and your experiences in the specialty and why the specialty interested you, go ahead and select the most meaningful ones. The ones that you think would resonate with program directors. And if you don't know which one is most meaningful or would resonate most with program directors, don't worry. We have amazing physician editors who can help you with that. They went through the process, they edited a ton of personal statements, and they can provide you guidance with writing your personal statement, selecting the most meaningful experiences to include in your personal statement, and finally edit it and make sure it looks great. And that's why we have multiple packages for our personal statement editing, because we know some applicants might just need one edit or two edits, while others need discussion over the phone for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, while others need multiple edits or discussions with the editor as well. And for that, we have the unlimited edit of your personal statement, where you can get as many edits as you like with 1 hour discussion with your editor, or the help me write from scratch. So if you don't even have a draft and you want a physician advisor to take you step by step with the brainstorming process, selecting the experiences, extensive editing, we have the Help Me Write From Scratch package, which includes 3 hours of discussions with your advisor and unlimited edits of your personal statement. So make sure to go to the Match Guy website and check the personal statement editing service, which is 100% satisfaction guarantee, which means if you're not happy, you get your money back, no questions asked. And I'll leave the link for this service in the cards above and the description below. Now going to the third step of writing your personal statement, after you brainstorm the different ideas, you selected the most meaningful ones, you go ahead and expand on these. So for example, if you selected your rotation at NYU as one of the strengths and why you selected the specialty, and this would have been a bullet point on your list, now you start talking more about that and expanding on this experience. Always following the show not tell principle. And here, these experiences can just stand alone by themselves now. You just talk about this experience, write it in a manner to provide interest in the specialty and also strength and why you should be chosen. And then in the fourth step of writing your personal statement, you start linking these stories. Because personally, I prefer the personal statement to tell a story. I prefer the story to flow in a chronological manner, except the introduction, it can just stand alone on itself. But the rest of the personal statement, I like it to follow the order in which things happen, so you can help the person reading your personal statement understand your story. And all these 4 steps is to come up with the first draft of your personal statement. And afterwards comes a lengthy editing process by yourself, seniors who are experienced with the process, and professional help you might seek. Personally, I reached draft 22 before I submitted my personal statement. And that's why I recommend you start early with the process, so you can give yourself time to go through multiple drafts after you go through the first 4 steps, and also give people who are going to review your personal statement enough time to give you feedback about it. And as I mentioned before, if you need help with your personal statement, don't hesitate to check out the Match Guy Personal Statement Editing, and we will get your personal statement back to you within 2 to 4 days. Now, common questions about the personal statement. How long should the personal statement be? I recommend keeping your personal statement concise. Although you have up to 28,000 characters, not words, I recommend the personal statement to be between 500 to 700 words. Because remember that program directors and people reviewing your application have hundreds, if not thousands, of applications to review. So try to make their job easier and write a concise story that can tell about yourself without making it very lengthy. And that's why I put selection as the second step of writing your personal statement, because you need to pick the most important parts of your story. Because every one of us, if they're going to talk about themselves, it could be pages and pages. But you need to present the most meaningful experiences. Another question we commonly get asked about is, should I write a personal statement for each program? And to be practical, it's impossible to write a personal statement for each program, because most applicants apply to 50 to 150 programs. And if you're going to write 150 personal statements, it's going to be very, very time consuming. So maybe if you want to write a specific personal statement for the top 2 or 3 programs you're interested in, you can consider doing that. But otherwise, one personal statement should be enough to tell your story. And a follow-up question on that, should I write a personal statement for each specialty I'm applying to? And the answer is definitely yes. Don't apply the same personal statement to general surgery and family medicine. Because as I said, expressing interest in the specialty is an important component of your personal statement. So you can't express interest in family medicine and general surgery in the same personal statement. So that's why we recommend writing a personal statement for each specialty. Before I end, I want to share with you the all-in-one Match application resources for Match applicants. It's a series of resources that include personal statement examples, ERAS application template, letter of recommendation, letters of interest, MSPE, interview prep, and so many other resources you will find extremely valuable in your application. To get these resources, sign up in the card above or the link in the description below. And if you need help with your application, not just with your personal statement, but also with your ERAS application, with your interview prep, advising throughout the process, go ahead and check out the Match application packages. We have Silver, Gold, and Platinum. The Silver has 1 edit of your personal statement, 1 edit of your ERAS application, 1 hour of interview prep. The Gold has 2 edits of your personal statement and ERAS application, 2 hours of interview prep, and 1 hour of advising. And the Platinum, which is the most comprehensive package, has unlimited access to your advisor through WhatsApp, unlimited edits of your personal statement and ERAS application, 4 hours of interview prep, and match edit guarantee, which means if you did not match, we will continue to edit your personal statement and CV at no cost until you match. So go ahead and check out the Match application packages we offer by clicking on the card above or the link in the description below, or schedule a free consultation with our customer support team who will happily talk to you about all the different packages we have and how we can best help you. I hope this video provided you with some insights on how to ace your residency personal statement. If you found any value in this video, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your colleague who's also applying to the Match. Before you go, make sure to check out the detailed tutorial I recorded on how to fill the ERAS application, and you can watch it by clicking here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and good luck on your application. Peace.